yourself, if I can handle this, I can handle any damn thing in my life. No, sorry about that. No, sorry about that. Now, honestly, we all go through a lot of problems, right? And there are aspects to our problems that we can do nothing about. And there are aspects to our problem that we can actually do something about and deal with it. How many of you are great at maths in school? Okay. How many of you are terrible at maths in school? How many of you didn't care a damn about maths in school? Oh, that's the maximum number of hands I can see. A teacher once came to a classroom and said, a ship is sinking, a frog is croaking, and potatoes are 20 rupees a kilo. Guess what my age is? The kid said, can you come back again, please? He said, a ship is sinking, a frog is croaking, and potatoes are 20 rupees a kilo. Guess what my age is? One boy raised his hand and said, 32, madam. She said, you're spot on. But how did you get that right? He said, well, my sister's 16 years old and she's half mad. That's the only way you can. She's 32, right? How does that even make sense? Now, I'm an engineer, and so problem solving to me, it's mathematical equations. Guys, a couple who gives birth to a challenged child is a non-negotiable problem there. In that equation, it's a pi, a constant. A family member battling terminal cancer with 2 months left is a pi, 3.1418. It can't change. It's non-negotiable. People misunderstand you for absolutely no reason. What can you do about it? It's a pi, non-negotiable. There are aspects to our problems that we can do nothing about, but there are aspects to our problems that we can do something about. So if there's a pi in the equation, there's an x in the equation, and that x is a variable, something that you guys can do, something that you guys can work upon. And so for years, I have been sharing this in my talks. Don't focus so much on the pi. It drains you. It saps your vital energy. It saps your mental strength. Focus on the X, something that you can do on. I've been sharing that a lot of times in my talks. But in my talks, I can come and meet you once. But when I write similar things in a book, I meet you every day, right on the side of your bed table on your bedside. Right? When I speak and I give a talk, it can move you and stir you in ways that you never thought. But when I write it in a book, I walk with you through your good days, through your bad days, through your quiet nights, through your confused mornings. I am with you, not once like today, but every day throughout your life through a book, right? When I speak,
Most people think success is about hard work or strategy. But in truth, success is emotional. Fear, greed, and envy control more outcomes in life than intelligence ever.
right? When I speak, I come to you. I flew to come to you. But when I write a book, you come to me. You buy the book. You carry the book. You underline stuff in there. And you come back to it again and again and again. In a talk, our relationship is this much. Through a book, because you keep reading it, our relationship becomes deeper and deeper and deeper every single day. Right? When it comes to a talk, I'm speaking to over 1,500, 2,000 people here. Can I speak to each one of you personally? How hard it is, because of the sheer numbers. But when you write a book, it's like an intimate conversation you and me are having every single day in your own time, in your own space, at your own pace. And that is why it's not just about speaking for me. It's about writing books, because books are something that stay with you. Talks may not. They can stir you. The adrenaline rush will be there. And post JLF, we are back to square one. But when it comes to a book, sorry to say, my face on "you can have it all" is constantly reminding you, don't focus on the pie. Focus on the X. That's why I get back to books again and again. Follow me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is just the endorsement we need for that store to be empty by the end of the day. So obviously you're an exceptional storyteller, you know, and we know that stories change lives. Is there a story that changed yours? Can you tell us?
Oh, yeah, wow. Thank you for firstly saying, I don't know if I'm an excellent storyteller or not, but. Oh. Storytelling is powerful, isn't it? I was at a home event once, and this one man comes up to me and says, "Sir, I'm your die-hard fan." I said, "Thank you, man." I said, what are you a fan for? He said, "I love your jokes." I said, "What about the points I make?" He said, "The points are good, the jokes are better." Now, I kind of got to this realization at that point in time. The stories, humor, jokes stay longer than philosophical points that are made. Stories and humor have a way to say serious stuff that reaches more to your heart than your minds. And what really needs for truth to really be approachable is it needs to reach our hearts. So this man, I said, "Okay, you're a fan, and you like my jokes, fine." And then a little boy came, I thought it was 8 years old. I said, "Yes, what's your name?" He said, "Aryan." I said, "Your son?" "Yeah." I said, "Which grade are you in, Aryan?" He said, "I'm about grade 3. After a while, a lady came. I said, "Your wife, right?" Right. She had a smile on her face first. It wasn't his wife. It wasn't his wife. And then the guy turned to him and turned to her and said, "Guruji ko zyada seriously nahi lene ka, bahut joke marte hain wo." Right. Now, after that, I learned from storytelling one thing, that I shouldn't now assume. I should ask, "Kaun hai, thoda introduce karenge bhai sahab?" Why make that mistake again? But trust me, stories have power. Stories have power to stay. Stories have power to make a serious point in a way that truly stays with us. Humor is like anesthesia. When you speak the truth, it's like surgery. It's hard, it's painful, it's tough. But through humor, becomes a bit easier to digest. The stories, truth becomes a bit easier to digest. What's the one story that has stayed with me? There was a boy once who came to a sage and said, "Sir, I'm looking for peace of mind. Can you kindly train me how to get peace of mind?" The sage gave him a bag full of stones and said, "Carry this non-stop all through the week and then come back and I'll train you to deal with the challenges in life and get peace." The guy walked around lugging this bag full of stones. At a point in time, the boy was tired. He was carrying it everywhere. The bag got heavier and heavier, not because the stones got heavier, because he was tired of carrying something that he did not need. And then he came back to the sage. After a week, the sage said, "Put the bag down now." He put the bag down, and suddenly the boy started feeling light, joyful, peaceful. The sage said, "This is the way to get peace. Every single day, you're carrying a bag full of stones in your mind, anger, insecurity, comparison, grudges, negativity. When we are lugging it all around, it's not about how big it is. It's how we are carrying it every single day." When I heard that story, I asked myself, I need to put down today. There's one stone, ladies and gentlemen, that's bothering you right now as you're listening to this session. What is that one stone that you need to put down today that'll make you feel a little better than where you are now? And that is why, even when I tell stories, my purpose is to help you put that one little stone down. दोस्तों, लोग तो मौत को यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं जी. लोग मौत को यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं, वरना तकलीफ वैसे जिंदगी से है. Right? Trouble is not with death. तकलीफ मौत से नहीं दोस्तों. तकलीफ जिंदगी से है. How many of you think people are hard to handle? Oh, lovely. One lady went to a doctor and the doctor says, how's your headache, madam? The lady said, he's out of town actually. I'm sorry. A lady was wearing her wedding ring on the wrong finger. Her friend asked, why are you wearing the wedding ring on the wrong finger? She said, just to remind myself I married the wrong guy every single day. Trust me, there are going to be small and big stones in life that get heavier and heavier every single day because we don't learn to put it down. My purpose of writing books, telling stories, is inspired by this story, that peace comes when we are willing to put those stones down. I just want you to go back today with just this one reflection. What stone is bothering you now? And what stone will you put down just for today, not even forever, just for today, to feel a little better? But that's where that story really struck a chord with me, Paulumi.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
You've also said that this book is your most relevant and personal book yet. Why is that?
Oh yeah, why? How many of you love eating, guys? Oh, sorry, wrong question. How many of you don't like eating, guys? Okay, few hands up there. Meet me after the session, okay? I think either you need therapy or I need therapy. Just joking. A guy from the West came to South India and he was served a meal on a banana leaf, like upma, dosas and all of that. He had the meal, and as he was going out, the restaurant owner asked him, how was the meal, sir? He said, the meal was fantastic. The salad was really stiff. He ate the banana leaf thinking it's salad, because that seemed like a salad leaf to him. How many of you love cooking? Oh my God, a lot of cooks here. Now, what differentiates Western cooking from Indian cooking is one thing called as tadka. Tadka, chonk. You use tadka, you load chonk, and we smash it there, right? Smash it. Like, like if you're making upma, you take some ghee or oil, then you add some mustard seeds. You raise the temperature, the mustard seeds start spluttering, tat, 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 right? You add some salt. When you add salt, salt is something that adds the most critical value to the prep, but is never seen. Have you ever seen salt in a pizza? Have you ever seen salt in paneer makhni? No. Then you add, if you're from Gujarat, you add a little bit of sugar to the chonk. Gujaratis love everything with a dash of sweetness. Then you add a bit of chili peppers or spice to make it spicy. In some parts of India, to make upma yellow, they'll add some haldi, turmeric, so that it looks yellow. Now trust me, each of these items are so diverse, you can't eat any of them by themselves. But when they come together, they make a fantastic prep. The purpose is one, to make the upma delicious. As a mustard seed, as salt, as sugar, as chili peppers, as turmeric, the purpose is one, single purpose, to make upma delicious, right? And relationships are exactly the same. Individuals are like that. At work, at home, amongst friend circles, some individuals are like mustard seed, rye. Raise the temperature, tat, 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 they start doing. Little pressure, they'll start doing like this. I'm sure you must be having a face in your mind. Who is the mustard?
Most people over 40 will enter 2026 still using ChatGPT like Google. Don't be one of them.
If you don't have a face in your mind, probably you are the mustard. Some guys are like salt. How many of you, give me a loud cheer if you can remember one person in your life who's like salt, who adds so much value but never bothers to seek credit, sacrifices for you. Give a loud cheer. Wow, look at that. There's always that salt. Sometimes it's mom, sometimes it's dad, sometimes it's a friend, sometimes a grandparent, sometimes a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, a mentor, salt. Some people are like sugar. कर लो ना भाई तुम. अरे डेडलाइन आ रहा है थोड़ा कर हो जाएगा सर. अरे डेडलाइन है हो जाएगा सर. For heaven's sake, they never take stress. Some people are like chili peppers. गाली के बिना शुरू ही नहीं करता है वो. I don't know why you need to yell and shout to get things done, but they will, right? My goodness me, I'm telling you. And some guys are like haldi. They do nothing. They come at the end and add color and said, मैंने किया. They're everywhere, guys. At home and at work, they're all over the place, trust me. Now, why am I giving you this analogy? Because trust me, everything in life is about relationships. Some will be like mustard, some will be like salt, some will be like sugar, some will be like chilies, some will be like turmeric, and some will be like whatever spice you want to talk about. Everything is about relationships. And to me, there are three kinds of relationships. One is your relationship with your own self. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this platform at JLF today to say that the only person most conveniently ignored in pursuit of everything is our own selves. In the name of work, in the name of family, in the name of boyfriends, girlfriends, spouses, others, the most conveniently ignored is the needs, the interests, and the concerns of our own selves. In making a relationship with the world, we have forgotten to make a relationship with our own self. So there's a relationship with ourselves. And then there's a relationship with others, your family, your friends, your social circles, your peers, your colleagues at work, relationship with others. And then there is a relationship with someone and something probably be above and beyond us. Three relationships that make experience of life beautiful. Why did I choose to write this book, You Can Have It All? Set in a wedding setting. Rohan and Sanjana are getting married in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. 3-day destination wedding. And spoiler alert, Sanjana's ex arrives. For that you need to read the book now. I'm not giving away the whole story. Sanjana's ex arrives. Can you imagine अगर बीवी और एक्स साथ साथ में उस आदमी का क्या होगा? दोनों इधर बीवी इधर एक्स खड़ी है, वो गाना गाता है वो अपने मन में, एक्स को देखता है, चाहा था क्या पाया है क्या हमने देखिए दिल में मगर जलते रहे चाहत के दिए तेरे लिए. Oh my God. Oh. I deliberately chose the theme of a destination wedding because all our relationship patterns are born in family dealings, not with peers and colleagues first. How we love, how we hate, how we ignore, how we neglect, how we advise, how we keep distance, how we forgive, how we are angry. All these patterns are born in family dealings. And then the same patterns come at work. The same patterns come with friends. The same patterns come in social dealings. Because you cannot discriminate between relationships. Once your mindset is fixed, it's applicable bloody everywhere. And that's exactly why to choose a family setting, a family story, is to reveal all of those blind spots, the red flags, the green flags, which can help us sort these three kinds of relationships with ourselves, with others, and with something and someone beyond us. Why is it most relevant and personal today? Because is there anything more relevant than relationships, guys? कब तक अकेला भूत बन के रहेगा? शादी करो ना करो कोई तो चाहिए ना भाई. Someone to share your heart, someone to connect with, someone to really share your joys and sorrows with. Who it is a different story. And which is exactly why, with a hot topic like connecting to yourself and others. I don't think there can be a more relevant topic in the world today than relationships. All your money, all your success, खाली रह जाएगा भाई. क्या करोगे अकेले? क्या करोगे अकेले? क्या करोगे भाई साहब अकेले? कोई तो लगेगा. बस एक सनम चाहिए.
One simple product that you use in your daily routine can change your life. Be it saris.
मुझे नहीं. सब सोच रहे गुरुजी. And of course, this book is also cutting across all generations. It begins with Gen Z. It talks about sexual orientations. One of the most taboo topics that why are people running away from talking on sensitive topics? We live in a very different world today. To have empathy, to be able to understand is critical. So we have a Gen Z character, we have a baby boomer, we have a millennial. We just left out alpha because बहुत छोटे हैं अभी. So I think it's kind of like that, and it's very personal for me because in this book I kind of really churned out every tidbit of my thoughts and feelings and put them into words. But I must tell you, they wanted to have the session at JLF, and I began writing this book in September and pulled it off in a month, guys. We pulled this off in a month, and HarperCollins pulled it up and brought it out in 2 months. They deserve a loud round of applause. Their entire team was like on top, late nights, and definitely what an absolute pleasure and joy to be able to do this and tell you, guys, you can have it all. Now, what does that you can have it all mean? Pick up a copy, go through it, and allow me to be on your bedside every day. And maybe you will know why you can have it all. Thank you.
Which brings me to, there are many things, as you said, that you've written in the book about their success, failure, judging oneself, others, awareness, reflection, contentment, communication, trust. And in the end, you talk about perspective. You say it comes down to perspective. There's a quote that both your editor and Trisha and I love from the book. You say, now let's talk about the word assume. Break it down, and what do you get? As, you, me. You probably heard this joke before, but when we assume without clarifying, we make an ass out of you and me. So what does it mean to clarify, to have perspective? How does it help us to live our lives?
Yeah. I mean, this question can be answered in many different ways, but since we are on relationships, I'll stick to, are you okay? Shall we stick to relationships? I can answer this question in many ways, but let's stick to relationships in particular, right? How many of you have ever misunderstood somebody? Oh, brilliant. How many of you have been misunderstood by somebody? Brilliant. How many of you have wanted to say something but have never said it to somebody? How many of you are carrying it in your mind and saying, एक दिन बोलूंगी लेकिन ऐसा दूंगी ना इसको? And how many of you are waiting for that golden moment कि एक दिन दूंगी लेकिन कभी नहीं दिया अभी तक? My God, क्या उस गली में कभी तेरा जाना हुआ? जहां से जमाने को गुजरे जमाना हुआ, मेरा समय तो वहीं पे है ठहरा हुआ. बताऊं तुम्हें क्या मेरे साथ क्या क्या हुआ? खामोशियाँ आवाज है, तुम सुनने तो आओ जरा, छू कर तुम्हें खिल जाएंगी, घर इनको बुलाओ जरा. बेकरार है बात करने को, कहने दो इनको जरा. खामोशियाँ तेरी मेरी खामोशियाँ. गीता का श्लोक पूछूं क्या? गाना पूछा तो सब बोल दिया बीच में. Now, here's where perspective and assumptions are a problem, guys. The problem is we don't speak. बताऊं तुम्हें क्या मेरे साथ क्या क्या हुआ तो बताना भाई, खामोश क्यों हो? बताऊं तुम्हें क्या मेरे साथ क्या क्या हुआ, किसी ने रोका है बताने को? क्यों रोक रहे हो अपने आप को? खामोशियां. The problem is we don't speak, and the problem is that other guy doesn't ask. And that's when duriya, there's distance. And this is not just about the conjugal relationships, in every relationship. Right? दोस्तों, बातें करना कितना जरूरी है. अपने दिल की बात खुल के बोल पाना कितना जरूरी है. सही तरीके से बोलना चाहिए. I'm not saying be aggressive. सही तरीके से, but talking your heart is so essential. In the book, I write a story of a boy named Arnav, and a teacher asked a small boy called Arnav, Arnav, if I give you 2 strawberries and 2 strawberries, how many will you have? He said 4. I give you 2 apples and 2 apples, how many will you have? 4. If I give you 2 mangoes and 2 mangoes, how many will you? He said 5. He said 2 and 2 strawberries are 4, 2 and 2 apples are 4, and 2 and 2 mangoes are 5. How? He reached his hand out in his bag and said, I already have 1 mango in my bag, madam. Right. So 2 and 2 is 4, and 1 mango in the bag already makes it 5, right? अगर टीचर ने अर्नव से पूछा नहीं और अर्नव ने टीचर को बताया नहीं, तो टीचर हमेशा सोचती रहेगी अर्नव उल्लू है, ये 2 + 2 मैंगोज को 5 बोलता है, और अर्नव हमेशा सोचता रहेगा टीचर हमेशा मुझे अब्यूज करती है बोल के तू उल्लू है.
The biggest lie every meditation teacher repeats. Everyone is preaching it. Live in the present moment. Be.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's always a hidden mango. If your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend is cheating on you, the fact is they're cheating on you, but do you know the hidden mango? Why are they cheating on you? Your son, your daughter is not behaving right, not doing things right. That's a fact. They're not performing. They're not doing. But why are they not doing? There's a hidden mango. So that spelling of the word assume, A-S-S-U-M-E, is you make an ass out of you and me when you assume. Why don't we talk? Why don't we try to understand the why? The what is very clear, it's evident. But until and unless we go to the why, the teacher went to the why to see what was hidden inside the bag. That's how she got to know why Arnav was saying 2 + 2 is 5. Why is your son misbehaving? Why is your daughter doing this? Why is your spouse cheating? Why is your boyfriend not behaving right? Why is this happening? If you don't figure that out, trust me guys, relationships are always sour. और इसीलिए खामोशिया गाना से एक सीखिए, खामोश नहीं रहना चाहिए, बातें करना सीखनी चाहिए. That's where you understand each other's perspective. जब तक एक दूसरे के पर्सपेक्टिव को समझेंगे नहीं, जब तक एक दूसरे की बातों को समझेंगे नहीं, कैसे चलेगा? In the book I also write about the 9-6 analogy, right? We all see things in a very different way. Gen Z sees in a very different way, and me as a Gen X guy sees things in a very different way. Like one little 5-year-old was asking Alpha, not Gen Z. Alpha was asking his mom, when was I downloaded, mom? My God, thank God he didn't ask when was I uploaded. Sorry about that guy. I'll tell you what, someone sees a 9, someone else sees a 6. And we are fixated. This is a 9 and they are fixated, it's a 6. When you move towards this side to see how they see that same digit, and they move to the other side to see how this guy is saying the same digit, that's when perspective comes in. The willingness to listen to the other person's story, the willingness to try and look at other person's viewpoints. And that is a big, big blessing in trying to make our relationships peaceful, joyful, and meaningful. So that's the power of perspective. Thank you.
I'm going to ask one last question before I open it up to the audience, because I know people want to talk to you.
Sure.
Yeah. Is there something that you discovered or that occurred to you for the first time while you were writing this book, when you elaborated on each aspect? Because you think very deeply about things.
Yeah.
But is there something that stood out for you where you said, oh, I didn't think of this before?
Yeah. What stood out to me in this book, which I didn't kind of think about? Actually, to be honest, nothing like stood out in particular, but I started realizing how much work I need to do on each of these as well. How many of you think you're really bad at something today in life? Okay. Lovely. How many of you think that you're decently good at something today? Okay. How many of you think that you can go from bad to at least better? How many of you think you can go from better to best? How many of you think you can go from best to best test? Right? So when I wrote this book, I looked at communication. The book talks about, I spoke about perspective, right? I spoke about assumptions. I spoke about rising about the mental patterns that we go through in attracting energies. And in each of these, I realized that some I'm good, at some not so great, and this needs a bit more work. I'm not going to share what needs more work on a public platform, but I've definitely taken note, and writing makes you a bit more conscientious कि भाई लिख तो दिया, अभी करना padega. So it puts a little bit of pressure on you. But I'll tell you what, guys, in each of our lives, this is what we need to do. And this will be my conclusive story before we open the floor for questions. There was a man, he asked his son who was about 8 years old, what is 9 multiplied by 8? The guy said 152. The father gave him a chocolate. The mother was standing right there. She looked at her husband and asked, I mean, do you know how much is 9 multiplied by 8? He said 72. Then the son is saying 152, you gave him a chocolate. Said yesterday he was saying 192. He's moved from 192 to 152. That's tremendous progress. And every little progress that someone makes towards the goal should be rewarded, right? It shouldn't be punished, right? We should reward every step that we take towards the goal. Now, guys, look at this, including myself, all of us, and we are no different. This garb doesn't make me any different. We are as human as anybody else. Yes, I may have stayed in the ashram for 30 years and navigate things a slight tad bit better because of this experience, but no difference, right? And therefore, in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, progress is step by step. Small, minute, baby steps. Here today I want to appeal to all of you, please don't live in guilt of what you cannot do. If there's one thing that's killing our lives, it's guilt. Nahi kar pa rahe, not happening. New Year resolution, not happening, guilt. Instead, take that one baby step and just pat your back a little bit that I moved from 172 to 152. From 152 I'll come to 102. From 102 I'll come to 72. बस फिर 72 से आगे नहीं जाना क्योंकि वही right answer है. Can I request all of you, for that one little baby step you took towards whatever you wanted to do, just pat your back a little bit. Just pat your back a little bit and say, it's fine. We'll move. We'll go in the right direction. Transformation is small, slow, steady. It's not an overnight journey. It's a lifetime project. We are all works in progress. And my best wishes and prayers for all of you that you can have it all, can help you transform your journey and your life in a positive way. Thank you. Thank you.
In the corporate world, if you come across as too nice, people don't respect you more.
Thank you so much, Guruji. To open the audience questions, I'll come to you. We have one question given to us from Mukesh from Patrika Reader. In a world that constantly celebrates achievement and visibility, how do we find our path? How do we find? Our path.
Our path. In a world that constantly celebrates achievements, accolades, numbers, metrics, optics, how do we find our path? I was in New York City. I was being given an award, an honor, humbled by that honor. But what was beautiful was that honor was being conferred at the Statue of Liberty. Guy, what a venue to receive that honor. You will have to go on a boat and then reach the Statue of Liberty, and the honor is being conferred to. So there's 4-5 of us sitting at a table, multiple celebrities, American Hollywood stars, Bollywood stars, a lot of people around there. And as I was sitting there, there was a friend of mine, artist, who was sitting across the table. There was music going on, there was singing going on, people were talking, there was so much happening, and there was so much noise. So much noise. And this friend of mine was just sitting across the table, and he was trying to say something to me, and I couldn't hear. I just couldn't hear. Not because he wasn't loud, because there was so much noise that even the loudest voice would be hard to hear. Did you happen to see Tom Cruise's reel recently? Where at an event Tom Cruise wasn't able to speak to somebody because there's so much noise, and he's like making all these gestures to communicate to somebody. It was going all over the place. Right. Now in the middle of a lot of noise, guys, we can't listen to the inner voice. So how do we find our path? There's a lot of noise of achievements, numbers, metrics, and they're important. We live in the real world. We need a sense of worth. We need a sense of validation that I'm a somebody. We need an identity. Success, achievements, accolades give us that identity, but they also camouflage our voice, which is exactly why a bit of sitting down in silence, cutting off from those distractions every now and then is essential. We don't need to cut off from anything, but every now and then, just taking a step back to cut off from those distractions and noise allows you to start listening to your own voice. Once the noise goes down, you will start listening clearly to what's speaking to you from within. Currently, you can't even make out what the difference is because there's absolutely so much noise around, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, when we silence ourselves a little bit, cut off from those distractions, which is why meditation is great, which is why journaling is great. You journal, you're cutting off from everything and allowing your voice to speak. Meditation is powerful because you're cutting off from everything and starting to face your own inner demons. And there are many things that you didn't know exist suddenly start surfacing up. And that's when your path slowly yet steadily evolves. It's not an overnight journey at all. Let it come. You don't need to have everything figured out right away. We don't need to have everything figured out right away. That's the achievement part. But the path, let it evolve. Let it speak to you. Be ready. Prepare yourself. And the path will come. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we start with the gentleman here? Yeah.
You need to turn the microphone on.
Not work.